Welcome. Representative Anna Paulina has been appointed to lead the House Oversight Committee's task force on the declassification of federal secrets. Guys, this is incredibly exciting information here. Well, on this channel, we cover the latest events that are rapidly shaping our world and tune into truth and spiritual wisdom to guide us on our journey. But a disclaimer is the views expressed in this video are personal opinions or AI-generated information and should not be taken as factual statements or professional advice. Well, let's take a look at this video with Anna Paulina Luna introducing this incredible task force. Let me go to the beginning here. Okay.
It is with profound honor that I have been entrusted by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer to lead the House Oversight Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets. Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list, the origins of COVID-19, and the 9/11 files. This task force will be
This is incredible. We have not seen this ever in the history of America, in the history of the world. A task force with the task of giving the truth on all of these things. And we asked ChatGPT here. ChatGPT says, yes, indeed, it does include the declassification of these records involving JFK, RFK, MLK, and Epstein's client list. Wow. September 11. I mean, there have been so many conspiracy videos about these things that point out very, very important things that happened on these events that were never explained. Why did Building 7 collapse, for example? There's no way that could have happened because there wasn't any plane that hit it or anything. And there are clips of newscasters saying like they don't know what happened with that. And then C-19 origins, investigating documents related to the origins of those events, and UAPs. Isn't it convenient that they just conveniently changed the name from UFOs to UAPs? Just that so that people don't associate the same exact thing with the word UFO, because people just discredited that for decades and decades and decades. But now they just conveniently just change the name so that they're like, oh, well, this is different, but it's hilarious. Exploring records concerning UAPs to shed light on unexplained aerial events. The task force is authorized for a 6-month period, during which it will review these materials and make recommendations regarding their declassification. Representative Luna has emphasized the importance of transparency, stating the federal government has been hiding information from Americans for decades. It's time to give Americans the answers they deserve. Man, this is phenomenal. I mean, for years I've been doing deep private investigative work, listening to incredible interviews from people in the military, people in various intelligence agencies who are whistleblowing, who are coming out, and they're talking about how incredibly difficult it is to bring this information out, that the mainstream news is unwilling to bring this information out. And from what I've heard is these, for decades, these intelligence agencies have, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but there have been gatekeepers in the mainstream news that shut down certain information from getting out for the purpose of national security. So they are given that top, really incredible, obscene amounts of power to shut down certain information from getting out. Many of these whistleblowers have been terrified to come out about information because their families have been threatened, their lives have been threatened. people's lives have been destroyed. Either it's their character that's destroyed publicly when they try to come out, or they're given threats. Serious stuff. And so it's terrifying. But let's take a look at a lot more of these clips that I have here. Okay, so we watched that one. Let's go to the next one. And I gotta use my mic here so you guys can hear it.
There's been a massive push to keep the American people in the dark, and that ends today.
Yeah, so a lot of this information has been suppressed, arguably, or has not been able to get out into the open, and the American people are fed up with it. We want to know the truth.
It's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were 2 shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Wow, so she said it there herself. There could have been two of those. And honestly, a lot of people who have already, researched this privately, private investigators, have already figured this kinds of stuff out, probably for years and years and years. But now it's coming out in a much more public way.
Is the amount of stonewalling, stovepiping, and also it seems that there is this push to gaslight the American people into looking at the evidence and then not fully believing it. I think for us, if we're writing the budget, for example, into the Pentagon, if we're writing the budget overall for whatever programs might be out there, why is it that members of Congress who are given a top secret security clearance are being denied access? That's not a free and true government. And so for us, especially being that we have now a Secretary of State who's actually open to declassification and Marco Rubio, we're hoping to present that information and at least acknowledge it from a government perspective.
Yeah, so isn't that fascinating how members of Congress have been given that ability to hopefully gain access to this information, but they have still been blocked. So who is it that's blocking them? Well, I have an idea of what organization that could be. But this has been happening for decades. I mean, we're talking about things that happened 60 years ago. This is going to, if the truth actually comes out, the full truth, which we still haven't gotten over after 60 years, how is this going to affect, my parents, the baby boomers, the past generation who grew up believing these lies or this lack of truth? A lot of times, there's like 80% of the truth given, but 20% of the information that's not given is the most important, most critical, most truthful information that is hidden from the public. This is wild. If this information comes out, this is going to change our culture. This is going to be a mass awakening. People are going to start to see the truth. It's going to be very difficult for many people out there who believe that, the government was always out there in their best interest and could do no wrong. It's going to be very difficult for people to realize that they've been lied to and they've been gaslit. And the news companies and politicians and people and even celebrities that they trusted are found to have been completely lying. I think it's going to come out. This is very exciting. I don't know if the whole truth is going to come out with this, but at least this is a good start. This is exciting. The fact that this is coming out on the government level is very, very interesting. Could we get the government to do a 180 where, they go from hiding all this information to coming out with it? That would be absolutely phenomenal. Okay, let's take a look at this.
Investigations, they didn't have access to the information that we are going to have access to. And so that's a big deal, especially if you're looking at what truly happened with JFK.
All right, so she's saying they're getting access to more information. Is that all of the information, or is it just a little bit more? They're saying there's like 2,400 new documents that have been found by 3-letter agencies. Where did these documents, where were they hidden? Like, why were they lost for 60 years? And all of a sudden now they're like, oh, now we found them. We just they were under a rock somewhere and we just had to go look for them. Very strange, pretty sketchy. But let's hope that this information can give the people the truth. And let's look at this final clip here.
Their whistleblower status and receive whistleblower protection, if that's what they're interested in doing. And I don't think they're going to face the type of retaliation that the previous administration gave whistleblowers, particularly the IRS whistleblowers that blew the whistle on the cover-up of the Biden family.
And I'd also like to close with this. If you are an independent investigator, we are being told that the FBI has now located thousands of pages of documents that they lost before, specifically relating to JFK.
Okay, so what I found really interesting about this is whistleblower protection. From my understanding, actually, I'm going to ask ChatGPT right now. This is exciting. Because the last time I asked ChatGPT what is included with whistleblower protection. Because I believe it's just legal protection. The problem is, in my opinion, a lot of these whistleblowers often get threats, and their families get threats, and so their life is at risk, and many of them are actually mysteriously pass away. So mysteriously. All right, so it's very scary to come out with this information that some of these, well, especially people in the military or secret agencies, the threat is very, very real. These people go bye-bye. Not all of them. There's still some of them, many of them, that are coming out and extremely courageously risking their lives. But let's look at what is included with the whistleblower protection from the government. Let's see what it says. Various legal safeguards designed to prevent retaliation against individuals who report misconduct, corruption, fraud, or other illegal activities within organizations, including government agencies and private companies. The protections include protection from retaliation. Employees cannot fire, suspend, harass, or discriminate against whistleblowers. Protection extends to job reassessment, pay cuts. I mean, this is just job stuff. Confidentiality. It's just legal protection, legal recourse and compensation, protection under various laws. Whistleblower Protection Act protects federal employees who disclose government wrongdoing. The Dodd-Frank Act, False Claims Act. But none of these give physical protection. None of these give, bodyguards or security protection for their lives. So even if they, like, how long? Let me ask, how soon could a whistleblower receive legal protection? It might even take a while for them even to get this legal protection. And meanwhile, their life and their family's lives are potentially at risk. So it's still, I think a lot of these whistleblowers are still, can be very scary to come out with this information, which would explain why for literally 60 years, a lot of this information hasn't been coming out, hasn't come out in the mainstream. Whistleblower generally receives legal protection as soon as they make protected disclosure under applicable laws. However, the timing, extent, and protection depend on several factors. All right, this is pretty complicated. It says 90 days. Let's see. Fast track protection. Some agencies offer expedited review processes. Sounds like perhaps 90 days, but they have to go through court proceedings. I mean, wow. If a whistleblower sues for reinstatement, back pay, or damages, it can take months to years, depending on the legal process. So, I mean, this kind of, in my opinion, we need a revamp of this. The people who are coming out with real information, they need security protection and good security protection. Because many of the interviews that I've listened to, many of the, what I've heard from private investigators and whistleblowers is that their lives are at risk, and many of these whistleblowers, like I said, go bye-bye. So this legal protection isn't going to do much if they can just be taken out. So, and many of these people in secret agencies have signed non-disclosure agreements. So that's one of the reasons they have not come out with, a lot of this information that they have, because they're legally not even allowed to do it, which is insane. That there's crimes going on within, in my opinion, from what I've heard in these organizations. I'm not going to say specifically, and it's been taking decades for the truth to come out about it. Okay, so I think that's majority of what I'm covering today. Extremely, extremely exciting stuff here, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is Anna, Paulina, Luna going to be able to really uncover the truth of what happened with all of these events? I mean, look at the list here. This is mind-blowing. All these records here, Epstein's client list, September 11th, C-19, and UAPs. I mean, all of the, if it was just even just one of these and we got the truth, this would be huge. But there's such an incredible list here. Do you think we're going to get the whole truth or just a sliver of the truth? What do y'all think? How quickly is this information going to be coming out? Man, this is exciting. I mean, with we got Doge. There's going to be many more updates that I'm going to be coming out with, guys. With Doge, with what's going on with Trump and the MAGA movement. RFK Jr. just came out with a video, "Make America Healthy Again." Anna, Paulina, Luna. I mean, there's so much coming out, and it's coming out fast. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.